Huh? Starting soon? Okay, we're live. Perfect. Now we just, Tita's bringing coffee. That's perfect. Perfect timing, Tita.
Perfect timing.
Just a second, guys.
Wow, the world's smallest cups.
It's a Kutaru.
Nice.
Yeah,
We're live.
yeah, bring the coffee. We are live.
Perfect. We're live. We're only missing one thing.
Yeah, coffee.
Coffee.
Thank you, Tita.
Thank you, Tita.
You're right now live.
In the
Thank
world's
you.
smallest coffee cups.
Hey guys, my name is Peter from Propertia, and next to me is my good friend and my colleague Joe Pillar, the sales manager of Propertia. Today we are gonna review third quarter.
Yep.
And then we are gonna go through the current market situation in Bali. And this video is for you who are considering to invest in Bali, mainly.
Yeah.
But we are going through a lot of topics. And at the end, you will have the opportunity to ask any question you want about investing in Bali. So let's start. The current market situation right now, Joe, in Bali.
Yes. Where shall I start with the current market?
You can start wherever you want.
Tourist numbers. Maybe we should start with
Yep.
tourist numbers.
They are
here
very
on the
relevant,
island.
right?
So if anybody's watched the Q1, Q2 reviews this year, they'll know that the target for foreign arrivals is 7 million for this year. As of the end of August, the numbers based on last year were up 12% this year, so they're well ahead of target. They actually reached just over 7 million last year, so currently good numbers. I think a lot of our clients say it feels a little bit quieter in the area we're in, but perhaps much busier in some of the other areas.
Yeah.
So we're seeing a lot more tourists on the island,
Yeah.
but perhaps spreading out to one or two different areas.
For sure. And compared to the other two quarters, what's the feel this quarter? Because third quarter is normally a little bit quiet.
Yeah, I mean, third quarter for us encompasses July, August, September,
Yeah.
which tourism-wise are some of the biggest months of the year.
Yeah.
You go from having 450, 500,000 a month in the quieter months,
Yeah.
not so quiet, but quieter months.
Yeah.
And then we see in August you had 680,000 foreign arrivals. July, I think, was 697,000. So much, much busier in terms of
Are these
number of foreign
visit-
arrivals
not
into
Indonesians?
Bali. Yeah, just foreign arrivals.
Wow.
So foreign arrivals much higher than some of the other months. I think naturally it feels busier wherever you are. When you look at data, average daily rates are higher, occupancies are higher, villas and hotels. So I think across the board it feels much busier in this quarter than the last two.
Amazing. And what's your, I mean, yeah.
Hold on. There's no audio for Instagram, so can we just
Okay.
pause?
Yeah, we
Yes.
pause just a
Take
minute.
pause for a second.
YouTubers, we love you guys. You just have to wait a little bit until we get our audio for Instagram fixed. Maybe we should have a coffee meanwhile.
There is audio.
There's audio now on Instagram.
There's audio on Instagram.
Okay.
Is there audio now?
Can everyone on
up to
Instagram
us.
please give
If
us
they
a
can
thumbs
hear
up?
us.
Thumbs up for audio on Instagram.
Yeah?
Okay.
Good to go.
Okay, good. And guys, just remember, start asking questions now, and we will at the end we will answer as many as we can.
Yeah.
It's very relevant for us because we know on a weekly basis we have a lot of questions from you guys. But this is an opportunity to get your answers straight away. So, Joe, you just repeated that the numbers are really strong
Yep.
for the year mainly, right? I mean,
For the year, busiest months, July, August, September.
I think 12% is a lot.
It's a
That's
it's a
strong.
huge amount.
We are still comparing visitors with other areas around the world, and I'm looking at Mexico, which in the past used to be an investment area also, and it seems like Bali is just running away globally.
I think where a lot of islands, destinations around the world have maybe started to slow down for various reasons, Bali seems to be continuing this steady growth. You have a lot of opportunities for clients to visit the island from around Asia Pacific. So, of course, Australia's the number one tourist, but actually you have a lot of clients now from Malaysia, Singapore, further around Asia, China, Japan, Korea. So I think Bali has such a big catchment area of neighbors that can visit the island very quickly that it will continue to grow while others slow down.
Yeah. So if you haven't been to Bali yet and you're looking at our live YouTube and Instagram, you should definitely visit Bali.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter really what time of the year you come.
No.
It's always gorgeous.
Yeah, absolutely. And they say now is the start of rainy season, but I think we're okay at the moment.
Yeah.
1 hour rain in a day is okay.
Few hours rain and then the sun is shining. Compared to Vietnam,
Where it
some
rains all day.
of our
Yeah,
colleagues
yeah.
been in Vietnam. They said it rained all day.
Yeah.
I do not recommend Vietnam. Go to Bali instead. Okay, cool. Third quarter review. I would like to just touch base with you. For me, I would like to compare the two past quarters. I mean, do you see a slowdown anyway? I mean, what's your feel about tourism / investors / what's your feel?
I think tourism-wise, there's so many. Over the last 3 years, it's been extremely busy all of the time in Canggu. And whenever you were in Canggu, no matter what time of the year it was very busy.
Yeah.
I think what's been a little bit more noticeable this year is that Canggu probably feels a little bit quieter than perhaps July, August last year.
Yeah.
But if you go to somewhere like Uluwatu or specifically Bingin, it feels considerably busier. So as I touched on at the beginning, I think tourists are just maybe spreading out a little bit more. So now they're seeing some of the other areas
100%
rather
agree.
than just all being stagnant in Canggu.
Yeah. And what I mean, now you just mentioned Uluwatu. I mean, for you guys who are looking, I remember when I came to Bali, Uluwatu was only the place where the surfers went.
Yeah.
But what's going on down there? What's happening?
It's changing rapidly, right?
Yeah.
I think over the last 2 or 3 years, it has just exploded. Whereas we've been in Canggu for a long time, 8-9 years, and we saw Canggu steadily grow, particularly over the first few years. Uluwatu as an area has just exploded, and within the last 2.5 years, there's been gyms, cafes, restaurants, a lot of the Canggu-based businesses then opening branches down there, and it seems to be spreading out. There's a lot of space down there, and so a lot of people, you can find different pockets of that area, but also you still have Bingin, which is effectively the Canggu of the area. It's the hub of everything. Now you're starting to see Thomas Beach, Sulaban, Nyang Nyang, and these other areas grow,
Super cool.
which I think is going to be amazing for the area.
I mean, I feel it more than ever that Canggu is becoming this big city vibe.
Yeah.
And when you go to Uluwatu, it actually feels like what Canggu was 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah. And I always say to clients when they come to Canggu, I'm an early bird, right? I'm up very early each day, and if you want to go out in Canggu in the morning and get a coffee at 6 a.m., it's very possible. If you want to find a gym or whatever, I think Bingin is definitely a little bit more vacation mode, holiday mode. Everything starts a little bit later. The surfers are perhaps a little bit more laid back, but both are so unique and have so much to offer.
I think we forget sometimes when we are here. I mean, when my friends are here, they say, oh, the diversity is absolutely insane in Bali.
Yeah.
And even though it's not a part of Bali, I think also going to some of the smaller islands like Siningan, Nusa Penida, Limbongan is just like the tropical vibe. Everything you have in, I mean, if I went somewhere else where I love Greece, but it's very much the same
It's
all
the
the
same
time.
wherever
There's
you
no
go,
diversity.
right? And actually, before I came to Bali and came here to live, I spent a lot of time in Phuket and around Thailand, and I felt the same. It didn't matter if where I went in Phuket, it was the same everywhere on the island. Here, it's, I'm in Canggu now. I can go an hour south and be in Uluwatu. I can also go an hour, hour and a half north. I went to Badugal a couple of months ago, and that was freezing cold, and it's very, very different wherever you go on the island.
It's crazy. The diversity is insane. What do you think when you're looking from an investor point of view? Because I think a lot of our viewers are investors and they want to know, should I invest in a property right now in Bali? And what do you think? Is it a bubble still, or has it ever been a bubble, or what's going on?
I think definitely the first, let's say, 2 years after COVID, we saw this wave that was just unstoppable, right? There were so many people that were interested in the island. There were a lot of people who wanted to invest, to develop, and perhaps that was more seen as a bubble at the time. I think what we're actually seeing now is the market stabilizing. So now we're going back into what most people would call a normal market, which is prices are starting to stabilize a little bit. We're not seeing these sharp increases in land or villas so much anymore. There's just a little bit more of a normal market, which is still very busy. And I think actually for investors will just solidify Bali as a more secure place, that it's not just in this bubble, but for us feels like a more stable market,
More stable,
I would say.
I 100% agree with you. I think we can also see the activity we are still very busy, but it's more normalizing, and I like that because now it's getting back to where we know where the market is stable.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think now you're not seeing these prices that could be up here or down here. Prices are a little bit more normalized. Land is still expensive and going up in certain areas, but I think across the market it's more stable.
Propertia is very, very focused on selling good investments, right? Our main market is definitely selling to investors who are doing daily rental. That's a huge part of our company, but I still feel like Uluwatu has enormous growth potential. And when you're sitting in Denmark or UK or wherever you are from, Uluwatu is a little bit complicated. I think, can you take me through the areas in Uluwatu where we are? What's number one investment area in Uluwatu, and then go,
Yeah, I need a map to show, but if I can explain it, the Phuket as a whole is this whole peninsula at the bottom of Bali. The way I always explain it to my clients is if you cut it in half and you looked at the left side of it, the west side of it, then that as a radius is about 6 times bigger than Canggu and the surroundings. So it looks huge for clients that are looking from overseas. The very first area that has exploded has been Bingin, and that's why I compare it to Canggu, because the middle of Canggu was the earliest place to grow in now what we call everything is Canggu, but Canggu was the first place to grow. So Bingin is very much the inception of that market. That's where the biggest gyms have opened, cafes, restaurants, and a lot of the amenities are in that area. Now what we're seeing is the same as happened in Canggu, where it's spreading out a little bit. So you can go onwards from Bingin to Padang, Thomas Beach, Sulaban, where you have amazing places like Mana, Uluwatu Surf Villas. You go into Uluwatu as we know it, which is where Uluwatu Temple is, and then up the hill to Nyang Nyang. If you just took those places, it's already much bigger than Canggu and the surroundings. So cool. And a lot of space down there. So I think whereas Canggu, there was space, but everything was wedged between other things, so you could only grow in a certain way. Uluwatu feels like it's growing in a really nice way. I can see a map up there.
Oh, we have a map. Amazing. Let's bring in the map. We are live, so
yes.
Let's have a map. Thank you so much. Okay, let's see a map here. So it's a bit small. That's our map. maybe you. Yeah. So we have the. Yeah. Maybe down here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're talking about this peninsula at the bottom here.
Down south of Bali.
Yeah, maybe you
We
can-
have. We are sitting in Canggu right now, around here.
Yeah.
And then you can go all the way down, and
Yeah.
this is the
Yeah.
Bukit Peninsula.
And then if you cut that in half and said the west side, the left side of it,
Yeah.
then that's the area that we're talking about, which is
Over here,
Bingin
right?
through
Yeah.
to Thomas Beach, Sulaban, and
Then I think the nice thing is everything has grown together. It's amazing when you drive around on your scooter, you go from one area to another, but it's just a transition. It's
Yeah.
like a soft transition. Restaurants popping up everywhere. It's super cool.
it's grown very quickly. I remember
Yeah.
going down there 7 or 8 years ago
Oh,
and
yeah.
staying in different little boutique hotels
Yeah.
then, and you wouldn't leave to eat because there was no options out there, right? You would need to eat breakfast, lunch, and
Yeah.
dinner at your hotel. Now the options are endless. It's crazy. There's so many beautiful restaurants, cafes, and the gyms. If you like
We
gyms, they're amazing.
stayed 1 week in Chandidasa
Yeah.
when we arrived to Bali, and then we went to Cells
Yeah.
in Uluwatu, and there was only Bukit Cafe
Yes.
who had the best burger at that time, and
Yeah.
that was it.
Yeah.
And today you have hundreds of restaurants
choices,
and
yeah.
gyms, and it's
Yeah.
absolutely
And
insane.
it's nice because it's not just the best of Canggu that's moving down there, but you also have cafes, restaurants that are specific to that area and that you can only get there as well. So I think there's a nice diversity in there.
And also, more than ever, I feel like people are really. Let's say you're staying 2 weeks in Bali, you're staying 1 week in Canggu, or maybe Ubud, and then you go 1 week to Uluwatu. So
Yeah.
people are right now very,
Very spread.
very.
I
spread.
remember friends coming here 7 or 8 years ago,
Yeah.
and it would be exactly that. They would book 2 weeks in Bali.
Yeah.
12 days would be in Canggu, and they would have a day trip to Uluwatu, a day trip
Exactly.
to Ubud. Now I think anyone that we speak to that's coming here is very split. It's a week here, a week there.
Exactly. And when we talk about Uluwatu, we sell a lot of off-plan in Uluwatu,
We do.
right? And we have also sold a lot of off-plan in Canggu.
Yeah.
And I looked at the numbers, and we are not BS anyone here. You know, the numbers for the properties that we have sold to people in Canggu, I would say the worst numbers I've seen is 80% occupancy.
Yeah.
The best I've seen is 96.
Yep.
And my feeling is now we are handing over keys to a lot of people in Uluwatu. My feeling is it's going to be the same down there.
Yeah, I think Uluwatu is simply a supply versus demand.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of supply at the moment, but a huge amount of demand. And if you are taking those typical tourists that say, I spend a week in Canggu, a week in Uluwatu, there is a sufficient amount in Canggu to service them, but there's simply not in Uluwatu. And we've handed over keys to some villas in the area already that are having extremely
Crazy
high
numbers,
occupancies.
I think when I look at the daily rental numbers, the price to rent daily, it's 20-30% more than Canggu because they can, right? There's not,
absolutely.
it's undersupply of.
But actually, when
villas.
you're buying the villa, you know, if you take the same 1-bedroom villa in each area, you can get them at the same price.
Yeah.
So it just means Uluwatu is going to give you that.
Yeah. And on a weekly basis, I get a lot of people saying, why are you so focused on this area? What's going on in other areas? Where do you recommend me to invest? For us, how many hundreds of villas do you think is missing down there in Uluwatu? Just to normalize the market.
Several hundreds.
We are going to
several.
sell a few of them.
Yes,
but
hopefully most.
yeah, most.
Yeah, I think.
I'm above 500
Yeah,
at least.
I was going to say 500 to 800 probably. In
When I look at the prices in Air DNA and compare it to Canggu is normalizing now.
Yeah.
Down there, they are just overcharging for villas, daily rental, and it has to normalize. And it cannot normalize before the.
I think we're saying 500 plus based on what we're seeing there right now, but we need to remember that over the next 5 years, that area is going to grow exponentially.
Yeah.
So it will get busier and busier.
Yeah.
Now, I still think if you're sat abroad and you search, where should I go in Bali, Canggu will still come up as the number one place. but that is likely to shift in the next 3 to 5 years, where Uluwatu will sit at the top. And as that happens, they will need more and more villas down there.
So true, so true. So just keep texting us, writing us questions if you have any questions about investment. Let's go through the third quarter. How has it been in Propertia? You have some news for us, so let's go through new projects, new colleagues, new people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
new projects. A lot to be excited
Are we ready to
about.
show people?
Yes.
Yes.
Good.
Cool.
What should we start with? We are starting with Stay. Stay Bingen is fantastic. A lot of people will know of this project from previous projects that we've sold. We had a huge amount of success for our clients with Nuju down in Bingen. Nuju changed the game a little bit because they offered a 3-year payment plan. So it meant that you pay 68% of the villa in the first year up until handover, and then you have 2 years to pay the other 40%.
So you get the keys, but you still have 2 years left.
You make the rental income, but you can still pay it off over 2 years.
That's fantastic.
They relaunched with this brand new product, which are 1-bedroom villas, perfect style, perfect size for the daily rental market. The location is crazy for Bingen. You have some very good neighbors that are about to open on their doorstep, very popular cafes and restaurants. I actually think the area that they're in is going to become a central street in that area because of what's happening around it at the moment.
It's no longer in the outskirts of Bingen.
No, we maybe would have said it was 5 minutes away from the key areas before. I think now they have some of the restaurants opening in that area are going to be incredible, and they are literally 100 meters away from the front door. So for me, Stay with a payment plan is fairly unbeatable in the market.
Because they are actually priced according to the market.
199, and that's what people have to understand is that you are not paying extra to have that payment plan. You're paying $199,000, which is very aligned with the market, actually perhaps even a little bit lower than some of the competitors in the market. But to have the opportunity to pay that 40% over 2 years after you get the keys means that you actually only need to pay $120,000 by handover, and then you get that $80,000.
How much is your estimation for yearly income on a stay? Just roughly.
Roughly, I think you will net 35 to 40,000.
Wow,
around that figure.
Wow.
I think the
and
location.
how long is the lease on a stay?
30 years.
30 years
from when you get the keys.
This is amazing. It's actually.
So you're
5 years longer than many of the other leases.
You're buying direct from the owner of the freehold, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
So you get 30 years from the moment you get the keys. Stay is perfect.
Stay is a perfect investment.
Yeah, absolutely.
How many units do we have?
8 units.
Only 8 units? So
8.
if you're sitting out there and thinking, okay.
Now's the time.
Now is the time.
Yep.
Yeah,
What's next?
199,000. Next.
Yes.
Wow.
Very fond of this one. Palmyra, Uluwatu.
Yeah.
This is Thomas Beach. Thomas Beach is, I think, an area that over the last year has gone a little bit crazy.
Why is it called Thomas Beach?
Actually, Thomas Beach was originally Padang Padang.
So true.
But then Padang Padang, as you know it now,
They
stole the name.
Yeah.
So we call it Thomas Beach. Such a nice area.
It's such a nice beach.
Yeah, nice beach, nice area. You have some of the best F&B down there. Kind, Mason, Uluwatu Fish Market, Lusuka, all of these on the doorstep. Probably 100 meters from the front door of Spring Spa for Palmyra. Palmyra has been extremely successful with us for the last 2 years. Single level villas that have been in Yang Yang and Bingen. Took this opportunity in Thomas Beach. You could not get a more central location than what they have. Taken some of the classic trademarks of Palmyra, but put it into this 2-story villa. And for me, I think it's amazing. We sold 4 in the first 2 weeks, so it's going to move very fast. We only have 4 2-beds, 2 are sold. So if you want to be Uluwatu, but not Bingen.
Yeah.
You want the next best.
It's
then
your
I think
favorite
it's-
area, right?
Yeah, I can't afford to be there, but I do love it. I think it's
You
an
talk
amazing
about
area.
Ulu Fish Market all the time.
Yeah, I think as an area, it has so much to offer.
Yeah,
And
actually, it started with single fin at the end, right? It
Yeah.
started, single fin is a fantastic place. You
Yeah,
can go
yeah.
for a sundowner
Yeah,
and just
absolutely.
hang out and look at the fantastic
think-
world-class surf just
Yeah.
on your doorstep.
I think within 200 meters of the front door of Palmera, you have probably
Yeah.
10 to 15
Yeah.
exceptional restaurants and cafes. So it has everything you could
Yeah.
want.
I love it down there. And I think Thomas Beach, which is the area we call it, is probably the most expensive land you can get in Uluwatu.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And mainly because there's a lack of land.
Yeah.
I think it's important that people understand that. It may look on a map like it's a big area, but in terms of the land that you can actually develop on that is zoned correctly, it's a very, very small area. And that's why Palmera offers a unique opportunity because we actually don't know when the next opportunity will come because we're not aware
There's
of
no more land.
available.
We sourced land for
Yes.
Yeah, and I think it's very important to emphasize that when you go down there, everything on the beach side
Yeah.
is where you can legally build,
Yeah.
and the other side is mainly green zone where you're not supposed to build,
Yes,
but people
exactly.
do it anyway and
Yeah,
cannot get the building permits.
Yeah.
It's tricky, right? Because I know we are going to have a lot of questions about zonings
Yes.
very soon. So I think for us, at least, getting the building permit so you're allowed to do daily rental, because I think the government is really hitting down hard on
Yeah, I think for us, the zoning is very black and white.
It's black and white.
Either you're in the right zone and you can get the right permits, or you're not. And I also think a lot of developers out there probably operate in this grey area where they think they can develop that area, they think they can get the permits that are required, and probably they can't. So we're very strict with how we see
You're
it.
very strict.
I'm
Yes,
very
you are.
strict with how I see it. But as far
It's
as I'm
okay.
concerned, what we have is very safe for our
And this is also, I think it's still priced really well compared to the land size.
Yeah.
Land price, sorry.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
because this land is maybe 15, 20% more expensive than Binking.
Yes.
So it's absolutely insane. You can get such a beautiful villa still in a key location.
Yeah.
And you have lost a lot less competitors in this area. Like you said, limited land, limited villas,
Yep.
and it's going to blow up
Yep.
for sure.
Next area. Locale.
Oh,
Yes. Also, I am in love with this. And so a lot of our clients, I mean, we sell a lot of off-plan.
Yeah.
And that's primarily because we haven't had the finished options to offer to our clients. Locale is located in what Time Out magazine called the third best neighborhood in the world.
in the world. That's
In Preranan.
Yeah.
1 and 2 bedroom villas, part of this boutique resort. We've taken clients there and they absolutely love it. Starting at $189,000 for a 1 bedroom, $239,000 for a 2 bedroom. Beauty is you can basically get the keys straight away and have it rented out, but you also get a payment plan. So you pay 60% again to the point of getting the keys, start renting it out, and then you have another year to pay the last 40%. So again, it's an opportunity where you actually can make the rental income while still paying the villa off.
You're like Santa Claus.
I know. Keep on giving gifts.
And Locale has facilities that no one else is offering.
Yeah,
right?
so it's part of this boutique resort where you actually have a gym, wellness on site, cafe, reception, golf buggies to bring your clients to and from their villas. So it
and
has
several pools also. Pool areas.
several pools. You have your own private pool. You have your own private villa, but you can also use all the amenities. And so for me, what you pay for that is very, very small, and you have access to everything. So a very unique opportunity to be in a key area, and also to get a finished villa. So there's some clients sat on the fence thinking, I don't want to go off plan yet, or I'm not ready to go to another area. I think this is already tried and tested. You have finished villas in a proven area.
And we already sold more than half.
Yes. Yeah, it's moving
So,
fast.
Yeah, be fast if you want
Yeah.
one of the locale
Yeah.
impediment. Yeah. Do we have any more projects we need to introduce?
No,
No?
we're going to talk about new additions.
New editions.
Yes.
Let's look at the latest edition.
Yes. Kelsey.
Kelsey.
Kelsey joined our sales team.
Yeah.
She's fantastic. She speaks English,
French?
French. Yeah. Here to help. Sales, any clients that want to deal with Kelsey, yeah, especially French speakers, then she's very well versed, but she's very good and very knowledgeable of the Bali
Super
market.
cool.
Yeah.
She's a great addition to our amazing sales team.
Yep.
Very skilled, very professional. She's amazing on social media.
Yep.
And she has a fantastic knowledge,
Yep.
I would say.
Yeah.
So, Kelsey, welcome to Kelsey,
Yes.
for sure.
And next, last
Yeah.
but not least, on the news,
Oi!
this is for you to present.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
it's been going on for a while. We actually were rewarded by Real Estate Insider. You can look them up. They are big trophy.
Yes.
Sorry, Valeska. It's a bit cringe, she's going to say. No, we got an award as the best real estate company in Bali.
It's a big,
I'm super proud.
yeah,
I
very big
mean,
achievement.
Yeah,
I think.
we've been nominated for another prize from an even bigger prize. Let's see how that goes. But in general, this is, of course, not about me and Propertia. It's all of you guys. You are amazing colleagues. And we have had a fantastic year so far. I think it's just an acknowledgement of what we are doing. What I very often, especially also what I hear about you, we make it uncomplicated to purchase a property in Bali, right? It's like people, we are dealing with a lot of different legal advisors, notaries, other real estate agents. They make it so complicated to purchase.
And I think on top of that, just our goal has always been to be as transparent as possible,
Exactly.
to offer good advice
Yeah.
and actually real life advice in Bali without making up any false information.
False information. Rather say no to business, right? You
Yes.
said it yourself.
Yep.
No green zone,
Yep,
no
sure.
maybe building permits.
Yeah.
We know what we are selling, and customers appreciate that. Yeah. What's next?
Questions. We
Questions.
must have a lot of questions.
Now it's the time. Hit that button.
Yeah.
We are live, and you can get an answer, hopefully, for most of your questions. Yeah. Now we are. Valeska is going to step in.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, first question. What are the up and coming areas?
Up and coming areas. So, I mean, we've done this video this live so many times,
Still the
right?
same.
And I still remember the earlier areas we were talking about when
Yeah.
we did this first time. We said outside of Canggu, you had new areas such as Sese, Tramagi that were starting to grow. I think the one thing that changed over the last 3 years compared to when we started this is that now you have Uluwatu.
Yeah.
And if you didn't have that, I think you would have seen Sese grow a lot more. But because more people wanted to go down south and go to Uluwatu, now you're seeing that. When we're talking about down there, we talk a lot about Bingin, and we just talked about Thomas Beach. But I think what we see as the next areas are probably Nyang Nyang has had a lot of success recently. Sulaban is kind of in between Nyang Nyang and Thomas Beach. And I think it will work its way a little bit into the start of Pachatu, and that will form the kind of circle of that main area. So a lot.
There's the other side of Bingin called Balangan, which I think we are not quite there yet, but it's also because we are selling properties to people promising or guaranteeing more or less that they will have a certain ROI, and we feel it's a bit too early.
And I also think with Belangan, when we talk about it, you will see a lot of people online, they say Canggu, but it could be 5 kilometers north of Canggu. Belangan is a huge place, and it's important that if you're buying there or you're considering investing there, that you're actually in the right part of it, because you could be in Belangan but still 3-4 kilometers away from where actually the hub is. So I think it's a bit early at the moment, but
I think it's quite simple to invest in Bali, to be honest. Uluwatu, Canggu, of course, Canggu is huge. You can go, but I think people have to realize that location matters, right?
Yes.
Wow, we have so many developers who are building Kapa Kapa, Kidungu,
I'm sure that's one of the questions.
Yeah, one of the questions are going to be, is Kidungu a good investment? But I think it's very simple.
Yeah.
And also, like, what we love is to take people around.
Yeah.
And
In
so,
our new golf buggy.
yeah,
Yes.
especially in bringing in the new
We
golf
didn't
buggy.
present it, but we
Yeah,
have a
we
new
should
golf
have
buggy.
had a
Yes.
video with a new golf buggy. That's
Yep.
next
Yep.
live.
Next question.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there a better time to buy a villa? Does season impact prices or buyer demand?
Good question. In short, no. And I think when you talk about the tourist numbers in Bali, I mean, we talked about July, August, September being the busier months where there's 650 to 700,000 foreign arrivals coming in. But the months that are outside of that, there's still 500,000 plus coming in. So it's still very busy. And when we talked about, you mentioned Vietnam at the beginning, and I mentioned Thailand, they can be very seasonal, where you have a rainy season and everything stops for 3 or 4 months. Here we have a rainy season where everything continues and tourists still come into the island. You're talking about rainy season is at the Christmas period, was actually one of the busiest periods for people flying in.
Peak
So
season,
for that reason, it means that tourism's very stable for the whole year, and therefore there's not a better or worse time to buy a villa in Bali. I think any time.
And prices
is good,
don't change,
and prices do not change at all.
I mean,
they
just
might
because
go up
you,
over time, but they don't go down.
Yeah. Next question.
Next one. So these two next one are kind of the same.
Yeah.
Is villa demand higher for 1 or 2 bedrooms? And then the next question is there a preference on villa size regarding rental return? 1 bed, 2, 3 beds?
Good question. We get asked this all the time. 1, 2, should I buy a 1 bedroom, a 2 bedroom, or should I buy a 3 or 4 bedroom?
2 1 bedroom.
2 1 bedrooms. In all honesty, I think when I first came to Bali, when you first came to Bali, 1 bedrooms didn't exist.
No, they didn't.
There was nothing in the market. You either stayed in a guest house or a 4-bedroom villa, and there was nothing in between. What we've seen over the last 4 years is so many digital nomads, singles, couples, people that are able to visit Bali for more than just 2 weeks, people that will come here for 2 or 3 months a year, and therefore they want their own space. And if you speak to our investors, people that have bought 1 bedrooms and 2 bedrooms, I think they will tell you that 1 bedroom is the best for them because it's the easiest to occupy over the duration of the year. Also a lower price point, so you can get a 1 bedroom for 189, 199, up to 229 at Palmyra, whereas your 2 bedroom options tend to start at 249, 259 and a bit higher USD. So for us, 1 and 2 bedrooms is still the strongest in the market, but if you had to make a decision tomorrow, it would be a 1 bedroom, I think.
I can see it in the numbers also. And sort of, there's still a very high occupancy on 3 bedroom, but now it's just, 1 bedrooms are just insane. The numbers, I still don't believe them when I look at this. Like 85 to 95% occupancy on a 1 bedroom.
I think with 3, 4, 5 bedrooms, what you actually get is people that have to plan much further ahead. So you get families, big groups that come in and maybe they book it 6 months in advance, but you're not getting the overall occupancy because you're not getting those last minute bookings either. What we see in 1 and 2 bedrooms, we each have experience in it. People book it right up until the last minute. And so it's very easy to occupy for 90% because actually, if you're empty tonight, it's very likely that you'll get a last minute booking tonight as well.
Would you recommend someone who had, let's say, $400,000, a 3-bedder or 2 1-bedders?
2 1-beds, simply put.
Yeah. Because when I'm flying out of Bali and coming back, I look around in the plane and I see couples and I see singles, I see friends. I don't see that many families anymore.
No, and I think the 2 bedrooms, we also sell a lot of 2 bedrooms, but I think a lot of those clients see themselves staying in the villa a little bit
Exactly.
more. So they want to stay in it, rent it out when they're not here, and they know that they have an extra room for friends to come and stay. I think with the one bedrooms, if you're talking pure investment, then most people don't plan on staying in their one bedrooms. It's just, I'm going to rent it out as much as I can.
Crazy. One bed.
Good questions.
All right, this one's not really a question, but someone's interested in ready-to-move-in villas and is asking if we have available.
Finished villas.
Yes.
Okay.
Depends on the area.
Yeah.
But locale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have, I mean, we take pride in selling really good investments. Of course, we have finished villas as well, but there's a reason why we're selling so many off-plan. I think the market in general will change the next 5 years.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a lot of villas whose occupancy is gonna go down a lot.
Yeah.
And then the ones we are selling, they are gonna perform like.
Why would their occupancy go down?
I think style has changed.
I agree.
Most of the villas I visit, they always have these 3-4 Instagrammable corners and closed facilities, modern decoration, interior is super cool.
Yeah.
They more or less, a lot of them look the same,
Yeah.
but they are not. But the different areas. I think for me, it's just you choose your villas off plan wisely.
Yeah. But if they're looking for something specifically finished, then I think Locale probably presents one of the best options in the market. I don't know if they plan to stay in it or rent it out, but it has all of the amenities.
That's what I love about Locale. You can do both.
You can
actually lock the door for 6 months and still would look really beautiful when you come
absolutely.
back. If you don't care about daily rental.
Yeah.
Just living. Yeah. We have more questions?
Yep. So this one's for YouTube viewer. Is the saying that the villas bought off the plan increased by 15 to 20% once it's built or somewhat cheaper by the price still holds true in Bingen? I bought a 1-bed villa in 2023 off the plan at 199.
Yeah.
In Bingen, really nice villa, around 12 to 14% returns. When I reached out to Propertia in 2025, they valued at 200,000. Where is the appreciation?
See, this is a good question.
It's a very good question.
Yeah, the appreciation, right? Because where I come from, you make money if you keep your property.
Yeah.
But you have to remember the lease is ticking down.
Yeah, and I think that's, I assume it's a leasehold property, which is 90% probably of what we sell to investors in the market. I think the way I always try to explain leasehold valuation is it's a little bit of a pendulum, right?
It is.
Because your lease is ticking down, but the value is going
slightly
up. And I will always tell clients my goal is to try and counterbalance it. That I'm trying to offset the duration that's going down by the valuation of the land going up. But that being said, we would always tell clients, if you're buying a villa in Bali, do not buy it for the capital gains, because that's not necessarily something that will happen. Buy it based on the rental income that you're going to get. If it was me, I would want to keep it for as long as I could to maximize that rental income for as long as I could. That being said, I don't know this villa, but I'm sure it's very nice. If they're making a lot of money on this villa and it has a 25-year lease, my opinion is if they kept it for another 2 or 3 years, we're probably still keeping it at $200,000.
Exactly.
So you're better off to keep it for the rental income and then sell it down the line.
Do not buy to resell a year later to try to get a
No,
profit.
and we actually see that a lot, particularly from, maybe developers selling themselves or doing their own marketing campaigns. They promise you these capital gains. They promise you when your villa is done, you can sell it for 30% more, and it's simply not possible. Not in this market.
No. So do not believe developers when they say there's a capital gain, because there is not. They are already priced very high.
Absolutely, and don't buy based on a capital gain.
Buy because
based
you
on the
want.
rental
Yeah,
income.
exactly.
Yeah.
Daily rental, that's what works in Bali. Do not, and of course, you should not lose money in the case that you regret you bought one, right?
Yeah.
But I agree with you. Keep it for 1 to 3 years, so you also have a rental history to show. and then you're sort of selling a business as well as a
And
villa.
we've seen some very successful cases lately where some of our clients have sold actually leases with around 20 years
Yeah.
on, but they've had 4 or 5 years worth of rental
Insane.
income, and they've just simply been able to show that to our clients and
I say,
justify that it
Here's
makes
your
a good,
interest rate on your.
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, next one. On a 30-year lease, assuming 1 to 2 years built, at what stage would you suggest lease extension negotiations, or conversely, how many retaining years do you suggest to sell at? Is it no less than 20 years?
Wow, the questions are really
Questions
good.
are very good,
Yeah.
well put together.
Yeah.
Good question, how to answer it. I think, first of all, when it comes to at what point do you want to sell the villa, I think that depends on what your goals are with the return that you're looking for. And as I just said, me personally, if I feel I'm going to be in Bali for a long time, I might choose, I don't want to sell it, right? Maybe my returns in 5 years are going to be a little bit less than they are today, but I think they will still be much better than I'm going to get in the UK, where I'm from. So have a plan as to, do you think you're going to keep it forever, or is it just a 4 or 5 years? For extensions, it's where it gets complicated.
Yeah.
The way I like to explain extensions to my clients is, when you take a leasehold property, within your leasehold contract, you will have an extension clause. And that clause can always look a little bit different. It might be an option, a right for a set amount of years, for an open amount of years. The way I like to explain the extension in the lease contract is that what's written into that lease contract is your worst case scenario. And your worst case scenario is that you go to the landowner in 25 or 30 years and they say, I'm not interested in doing it anymore. And you know you have something written in black and white that you can actually refer back to. The practical side of how it works is that extensions are more, I would say, informal, Balinese, right? Where you go to your landowner and you say, when you're ready to do an extension, we're ready to do it with you, right? So whenever you want the money for an extension, we're ready to do the extension with you, and we don't mind if that's for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. I know leasehold owners who do 1 year every year.
Yeah.
I know people that go and say, okay, I want to do 10 years now. So I think for me, it's about letting the landowner know your intention and then waiting for them to come to you and say, this is
100%.
when I want to do it. Now, clients will say that's very up in the air as to when it works, but I think it's also the reality of how it's most likely to happen in Bali. But as I said, what's written into your contract is a worst case scenario. I also think that, okay, if they're saying, I have 30 years now, when should I do it? I would wait 3 or 4 years first. And the reason is, the chances are the landowner has just sold their piece of land. They've just received a lot of money, and therefore they're probably not in a desperate rush to do an extension right now.
I agree. I think for a lot of the foreign investors, they're rushing into the extensions.
Yeah.
And that's a huge mistake.
For sure.
Like you said, once a Balinese landowner, he has received a lot of money, it takes a few years before he needs money again.
Yeah,
but for
yeah,
sure, get into a good dialogue with the landowner.
For sure. And I it's not to exploit, but your negotiation is always going to be better if they would prefer that you do the extension rather than you're asking for it. So I would say wait until they're actually looking to do the extension.
We have a lot
as
of buyers who are trying to say, let's say on a 20 years lease that is left, I would like to buy the villa, but I want 10 years extension right now.
Yeah.
And then we look into the master lease agreement and say, listen, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You need to buy the villa and create a relationship with the landowner. And then probably in a few years, they will come and say, yeah, we would like to extend 10 years. Yeah, cool. Very nice question. Yes.
All right.
Do we have more questions?
Yes, we do. So, is there a deal to be made if you purchase 2 villas next to each other, live in one and rent one?
Yes.
What kind of deal?
There's a good deal lifestyle.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of our clients look to do that. And now
they do.
I also explain to our developers that yes, it is largely about investment for our clients, but I also think that for some of them, it's about lifestyle as well. And a lot of them do plan on coming to Bali and staying in the villa for a few weeks and so on. Having two villas next to each other makes perfect sense to me because, it's always going to be managed together and you could have the same staff and so on. Could you get a better deal? Maybe.
If you go straight to a developer and say, I'm going to buy two from you. You know what I realized also, that the problem with, that's our door.
Yeah.
The problem with Propertia is we always want to list our property at market price, right? So we have these conversations with the developers where we are saying, no, it should be 199, not 219. And I know the developers really find us, you and I, a little bit annoying sometimes.
Yeah, I think they love to hate us.
Yeah, they love to hate us.
Yeah.
That's a nice way to put it. But there's not much room for ego anymore because you buy Spain and Greece and everything. It's one of the safest places, I feel, in the world. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
And people really, it's also about feeling safe now. It's not only about how is the weather and which villa can I buy.
Yeah.
It's also like, it's very, very, very rare we hear about crime in Bali.
Yeah. And I also think, Bali over the last couple of years, people talked about perhaps over tourism, or is it too busy, and infrastructure and all of that. But if you actually take a step back and look at the things that have improved on the island, there are so many things. And now everywhere you go, small things, but we have sidewalks everywhere so you can walk around. Sonor's still in process, but everywhere. Even flying in and out of the airport, you now have digital e-gates. Everything is much more streamlined.
And taxi companies are allowed now in the airport.
Yeah,
So remember in the old days with the taxi mafia?
Yes.
Holy.
Absolutely. So I actually think, people talk a lot about these infrastructure things, but actually there's a lot that's happening in Bali and a lot that is much better than it was even 2 years ago and will continue to get better.
If you want to retire, Bali is a fantastic place, and you don't, I talk from experience, you don't need to speak the language.
No.
You can just get along in English, and then you'll be fine, which is an amazing experience. Yeah, next one.
Someone's asking is it still a good location to invest in Paranan?
Third coolest place in the world?
Yeah, that was last year, right? But I think it's still a very
now
cool
it's probably
place.
number 2.
Yeah. As an area, I think it has so much going for it.
What's going on in Paranan? Why is it suddenly such a...
We talk about Canggu almost as
we are sitting in Paranan right
blocks,
now, right? Yeah,
right?
exactly.
You have Barawa, which is actually where our sales office is. You have Canggu, which people will have known it as Batu Belong.
Yeah.
Deuce Machina, Old Man's, Echo Beach, that area. And then Paranan was the new kid on the block a couple of years ago. I think if you're looking for the best dining, the best F&B, you will not find any better than that area. What we've also seen over the last 2 years is it's become a bit of a health hub for the area, where you have probably 4 or 5 world-class gyms and fitness facilities. You have areas that are just lined with health food cafes, recovery centers, spas, etc. So as an area, I think it's fantastic. And for me, it's the last part of Canggu that is still an amazing investment. I think when you go beyond that into...
Be careful
people
what you
hate
say,
me, but Sese and Chamagi, it's probably not as much going for it. Very nice areas, but not as much going on as you have in Paranan.
I checked the occupancy numbers in Sese, and they were actually quite good.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not, but you have...
I think it's amazing,
it's
but
a
there's just
10-minute
less
scooter
going,
drive
less
outside
going on there.
Canggu, exactly. Nice.
Okay. Very asked question all the time. So, you're new to Bali, first time buyer. Simple answer: freehold or leasehold?
Freehold doesn't exist, so...
Yeah, I think it's
very
worth understanding what is actually possible first. So leasehold, any nationality can buy, pretty much. Freehold is not possible for foreigners to actually own. It's for Indonesian citizens only. You can buy it through a PTPMA, but you need to change the title of it to HGB.
Complicated.
My answer would always be, it depends.
Yeah.
What do you want out of the property? If this is going to be your forever home and you want to live in it for the next 50 years, why not look at a freehold option? But if it's purely about investments, if I was to take comparable villas in the market, a 2-bedroom in Canggu, 30-year lease, 30-year freehold, then I think the leasehold makes much more sense because you'll be paying 30% less for it, but you're going to be renting it for the same amount.
Yeah, exactly.
And so for me, leasehold makes more sense as a investment.
It makes sense for Indonesians because they can get a mortgage, right?
Absolutely.
So that makes sense. We have a new project called White Fox.
Yes.
And they are beautiful 2-bedroom villas in the right location, freehold.
Yeah.
Or sitting on how big a land?
Just over 1 hour.
1 hour, 2-bedroom. So for Indonesians, that would just be like a mind-blowing investment.
Yeah, absolutely. And also our foreigners can buy it
Yeah, for sure.
through a PTPMA if they just feel that is the safest
But there's
option.
nothing to choose from,
But
actually.
they will be paying more for it, and it just comes down to whether they're willing to wait longer for that return.
Foreign investors forget about the idea of buying freehold.
Yes.
I mean, it does not make sense.
And also much more limited in the options.
Yeah, exactly. You
offer.
get a much worse property because a lot of the freehold properties are 20 years old.
Yeah.
So suddenly the occupancy is going down.
Yeah.
Good. Leasehold.
We have like 5 more, but
Yeah,
how
but
many?
we go with the flow as long as we have
People.
Okay, so
connection.
do you have property in Ubud?
not yet.
Not yet. Well, not yet. No. And I honestly, Ubud has grown on me a little
me
bit.
too.
I think it's really nice up there. The thing I don't understand is that when you're driving there, Google Maps says you're in Ubud, but you could still be 10 kilometers away from the city center. And to me, it's just such a big area. And that's probably why we haven't ventured there yet, because it's so huge. But I think it's...
But we went
really
together and we almost got lost, right?
Yeah,
It's like-
yeah, absolutely.
I
But
actually love Ubud also. For me, it's you seek a different experience, right?
absolutely.
I'm very much a beach guy, sun up there. It's a little bit more cloudy because we are getting up in the mountains and jungle, and of course, but it's lifestyle also.
I think
food is amazing in Ubud.
Very, very good food up there.
Oh, man.
And of course, it's a little bit more peaceful when you drive around certain areas. But like I said, you could also be in Ubud, but be very far away from anything.
I think Ubud could actually put themselves on the world map just on food.
Yeah. Yes.
That would be absolutely...
I think some of my favorite places are up there, actually.
Man. It's like, if you're a foodie and you love jungle and rice fields, Ubud is...
If you're a
the place.
foodie, come to Bali.
The reason why I'm saying this is a lot of people have requested that we open an office in Ubud.
Yeah, never say never.
But do you want to sit up there?
No.
Okay.
Not, maybe, sometimes.
No, you're a Sanurka.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next question.
Right. How many villas have you both invested into in Bali? And Spain is moving into banning Airbnb soon.
Yeah.
What if this happens in Bali?
Yeah. Wow. Thank you so much for the very nice questions, because that, I just saw that the other day. How many we have invested in? So from our small little modest salary, we have bought a few villas each. I bought a 1-bedroom in a very good location, doing okay for rental. It just started up. And then I bought a small private home in Uluwatu. And I'm very, very comfortable with this situation. I don't need any more properties. It's not because I invest most of my money in the company, but I know you have a little bit a better experience than I do with daily.
I'm going red.
Yeah,
I don't like to talk about my own finance.
You don't have to share so much.
No, I have invested in a property, and I mean it's
But it's
proof of concept.
almost performing so well you don't want to sell it anymore.
Yeah, it's proof of concept. I think it's a 2-bedroom doing very well in the daily rental market. Right style, decent location, I would say. And
But you wouldn't have built a 2-bedroom today. You would build two.
No,
two
I would
one-
build 1-bedrooms
Yeah.
today, but that's as much as I'm willing to share.
Actually, we should charge for all these advices, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Being-
no, we're happy to share advice
Yeah.
always. But,
Cool.
what was the last part of the question?
Yeah.
Spain is moving into
Banning
banning
Airbnb.
Airbnb.
Yeah.
What if this happens in Bali?
It will never happen.
I think it's for different reasons,
Yeah.
right, that they're banning it.
Yeah.
In Spain, it's
It's for the Spanish,
to protect the locals,
Exactly.
the community that have that want their own houses there, right? I think what we're talking about in Bali is a market that's outside of the residential market. Therefore, it's not taking away
No,
the opportunities
at least not yet.
from them.
Maybe in 10, 15,
I-
20 years. I
Yeah,
don't know.
perhaps. I also think that it's just way too big a business for even
yeah.
the government to not be
80%
part
of
of.
Bali.
So I don't see it happening.
I think it's wise in Spain. I think a lot of Spanish people, we open an office in Mallorca
Yes.
and they are banning or have already banned Airbnb also. And I think it's when you talk to Spanish people and let's say they get 15 to 2,000 euros a month,
Yeah.
but a 1-bedroom flat is 1,000 euros.
Yeah.
There's a disconnect here.
for sure.
So of course the government needs to step in and say, hey, first of all, Spanish people needs a place
Yeah.
because it's not a left-wing government thing. It actually happens in Denmark also,
Yeah.
and it's happening all over the world right
It
now.
happens in my hometown in
Yeah.
the UK, where a lot of people from the cities
Yeah.
came and invested in the properties,
Yeah.
and therefore the people who lived
Yeah.
there couldn't afford
Yeah.
to buy. But like I said, I think that's taking away opportunities from residents.
Yeah.
What we're talking about here is additions to
I agree.
residents. Yeah.
It won't happen in Bali. Cannot happen in Bali. It's simply, and actually, the Indonesian government looks. They visit Bali a lot
Yeah.
because the growth is so huge,
absolutely.
right? So the president has been here several times saying, "What are you doing different than
Yeah.
we are doing in the rest of Indonesia?"
Yeah.
So yeah,
All
So-
right.
Yeah.
Tricky question. If you could only own in one area, Uluwatu or Canggu?
down south Uluwatu. For me,
Invest.
Yeah.
Or live. Buy.
If you could only own. He
Own?
doesn't specify.
Good. Yeah. I always, like I said, it depends. If you wanted to stay in it, sometimes I would always say it depends on what you want, right? Because we talk all the time about Canggu being the hub, the business district of everything. Everyone gets up here at 5 a.m. and coffee shops are open at 6. If you want the more relaxed lifestyle, then Uluwatu has to be the place because it's just very,
But
very nice.
I
But
s-
if it's pure investment, I'm probably with you.
but I stayed there 4 days last week, and Uluwatu right now, the vibe down there, it's
Yeah.
wow. There's no other place in the world that offers that
Yeah.
kind of diversity in the restaurants, the gyms. People are so friendly. Not saying that because I live in Canggu also,
Yeah.
they're not friendly in Canggu. They are, but Canggu just became a very busy business hub as well,
Yeah.
right? And the surf vibe in Uluwatu is just
Yeah.
for sure Uluwatu.
Okay, a couple more questions. Are there any infrastructure developments in the Thomas Beach area? What other developments are happening in the area apart from villas?
Infrastructure.
Like-
Thomas Beach.
Yeah.
The infrastructure is quite simple in Uluwatu. You have one main road.
That goes all the way around.
Yeah, that goes
Yeah.
all the way, cuts through all the areas.
Yeah.
They will also have footpaths eventually, for sure, but there's not much. Now they are very concerned about the gutters because we had the flooding. And the flooding was, in the media, a very, very big thing. I remember I was sitting somewhere else in the world, and everything you saw was from Denpasar, in the middle
Yeah.
of Denpasar. There was no gutters, and the flooding was everywhere, and people died. It was absolutely horrendous. But it's such a small part of
Yeah.
Bali.
Yeah.
Of course, it was raining a lot, but infrastructure is a little bit early. I think the biggest problem we have now in Uluwatu is water.
Yeah, I think there's a few things that the government seems to be focusing on. One is as a result of the floods, they're a little bit more stringent on the zoning. And are you actually building in the right zoning?
Yeah.
Because, of course, if you're building in green zones and it's on rice fields,
Stupid.
which is natural drainage, and then you start to build a villa on it, then of course you're going to have drainage problems. I think down in Uluwatu, access in and out of the areas, the one big thing they're looking at, which is having a main road that takes you in and out, so the traffic is a little bit more diluted, and then water in that area as well. It's much higher, more difficult to drill for a water well. PDAM is the government water, the underground pipes works and then doesn't work. So I think they're figuring that out at the moment. But
It's a
still
very
enough.
young area. I mean, it will take another 5 years before it actually becomes like Canggu, right? So, yeah.
Do you see Bali being overcrowded as a problem or an opportunity? Is it true they are planning on building a subway system?
Yes. Yes, it's true they're building a subway or a MRT, right? Metro rail.
Is it happening?
Transport, yeah, which is supposed to go from Kuta airport area through to Chamagi up to Ubud.
That's the
out to
plan.
Sinnar. That's the plan.
Isn't it a
right?
little bit like the airport in the north?
Could be. Who knows what will happen? Is it overcrowded? I'm
don't
not
feel
sure.
it,
I
no.
mean, I'm from the UK. When I go back, I go to London. Walking around London is horrendous, right? It's so busy. Going on the underground in London is awful. So people talk to me about, is it overcrowded? Traffic. I mean, I lived in London for a couple of years. Sometimes it took me 4 hours to drive 3 miles, right? So I think it anywhere you go in the world that is a popular destination is going to be busy, and it's a little bit unavoidable to get away from that. Are there plans in place to ease certain congestions? Yeah, I've talked about it in the last quarter videos. The MRT is one of them. The boat taxis are supposed to be operational this year.
So many beautiful
Whether it
plans.
happens, I don't know, but that's supposed to take people from Canggu to Uluwatu basically very quickly. There are new main roads, new underpasses going in, so I think a lot of this is already underway. Do I think it's overcrowded? I don't. I think I'm very used to it being busy. There are certain roads that get very busy in Canggu at certain times of the day, but I think you would find that anywhere in the world. I really do.
I very often ask people, what are you comparing to?
Yeah.
And they say, Uluwatu 15 years ago. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It's like,
Maybe last one. We
Yeah.
have 2 more.
Last question?
Well, we have a lot more, but I don't.
Okay.
Okay.
Listen, I think just to finish up, what I really would love, if there's questions we haven't answered, we can do separate videos because they are relevant for all our viewers, I think. So, we can just...
We can also go live again.
Yeah, we will go live again, for sure. More frequently.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so this last one.
Yeah.
When buying a property in Bali, during the purchase process and dealing with the notary, what are your top 3 landmines to look out for?
Landmines.
Landmines.
Good question. I would say the notary due diligence process here is checking 4 to 5 key points, right? Usually you're leasing a piece of land or you're subleasing from somebody else that has already leased that land from the landowner. The notary is checking primarily, and I think it's the number one most important thing at the moment, is the zoning correct for what they are building on the project. They're also checking who owns the land, who owns the lease, is there any outstanding debts, and do you have access to that land? So do you have a road that actually takes you to that land? That's your notary's responsibility, and those are the primary checks that they're always going to look out for. So I think if you have those covered, then you're very safe. I think one thing to touch on, which we haven't talked about in here or also much on social media, but we have 3 in-house legal advisors that are all legally trained that check every single document of every single transaction that goes through the business, and they are extremely thorough in the way that they check everything before it makes it to the notary, and in most instances before it even makes it to our website. So even if you're looking at buying, you should be assured that we've already done our checks, but you should also be assured that during that due diligence process, we also have a legal team to back you up.
We are probably the only real estate agent with such a professional legal team.
Yeah.
And I hear them on a daily basis question
Yes.
the notaries
Yes.
and saying, this is not correct, this is wrong. It's absolutely amazing. That means when you're buying from Propertia, it's probably, there's been done a due diligence before the due diligence with your own notary.
Yeah. And I think it's worth saying that, I mean, these staff actually came from notary offices, right? So they were trained in a notary office, and then we brought them in-house.
We should have a video with this legal team. That would be really nice, because that's the biggest question or the biggest hurdle for investors is like, oh, it's Indonesia, I feel so unsafe. We are very open to have a Zoom call with people who feels a little bit insecure about investing but we have a lot more questions
for next time.
For next time.
I just want to say, so the person who asked about the appreciation is asking again on Instagram. P. Agarwa, we have answered that question already. So you can check it on the YouTube. That's going to be on our channel this Sunday. So I don't think that we will be able to put the live on Instagram because we had technical problems. But you guys can go ahead and check it on YouTube.
And that goes for every day. We have a contact number, WhatsApp. If you have a question, whatever, legally, sales-wise, where to invest, just text us. We are here to serve you guys, and hopefully we can help you. And if we can't, then it's also okay. So let's wrap it up. And we apologize for the small interruption. We will kill our technical team. But we'll be back soon. We definitely want to do these live sessions more frequently, because I think people behind the screen is more comfortable asking the questions, right? So thank you for tuning in, and thank you, Joe, for spreading your wise words. And we will see you in the next one.